Pisces, what is going on? Welcome into the channel. So happy to have you here always. My name is Deborah, owner of Purusha Holistic Wellness, and this is another episode of Purusha Intuitive, where we're going to look at your energy for the month of December via the tarot, astrology, and any channeled messages that come through. So let's get into it. I want to start off by saying thank you so much for your patience as I got this reading out. I feel bad. I feel like you always have to wait the longest. I will put your reading up first next month just to make sure, in all fairness. Thank you just for being flexible. I'm just kind of sorting through some scheduling things, how I want the channel to look, some readjustments. So I appreciate your patience always. I hope you're doing well. We're in the season of Sagittarius, the holiday season. Things are moving, a little bit more. Scorpio season was really watery. Lots of planets not only in water placement, but we also have Neptune in Pisces in retrograde. Jupiter is also in retrograde in Cancer, both water signs, obviously, are Pisces. But, it's forcing us to slow down. It's forcing us to reflect. It's forcing us to reflect upon what we have in front of us versus what we want to go after, what we kind of want to see grow, change, evolve in our life. And yeah, some kind of like existential questions, whatever. But we're seeing these things pop up more readily because Pluto's moved into Aquarius, because we have the opportunity to make changes and align with things that are more heart honoring or authentic or like the lives we want to be living. It gives a lot of energy towards creativity, innovation, really just connecting with things that make life magical and beautiful. We do have to make changes to get there, right? And it's kind of why we're seeing a lot of change pop up. That's why I like to start off with an energy cleansing, just to kind of set the tone, set the vibe, cleanse out those places we might feel blocked or limited, or we have just a lot of heaviness, a lot of negativity around us. It's a great time to set your own intention, especially if you've come in with something on your heart, on your mind, something that resonated with you. Definitely give that over to Spirit. It's a great way to receive messages. Spirit's always wanting to speak to us. And I also do personal readings. I offer a variety of healing wellness services. Readings are one of them. If you want me to look at your specific situation, how it's faring, where it's headed, or if you are interested in that realignment of self or alignment with self, your mind, body, soul, I do energy healing, as well as Ayurvedic or holistic wellness consultations. When we're strong, grounded in ourself, which taking care of our well-being naturally affords, that's really where we're manifesting our best life, right? Like it's where we feel the most happiness, fulfillment, success. We're able to kind of like go after our dreams, so to speak. And I would love to help support that with you in whatever way possible, Pisces. Definitely hit me up. All the info to get into contact with me is in the description box below. All right, let's get into it. I bless you with pure love and light, pure source energy, pure loving grace. I release anything that is not for your highest and best. Any fears, doubts, insecurities, lack of worth, lack of value, pain, anger, frustration, impatience, overwhelm. Cleanse it and release it from our being so we may see and understand the messages clearly. Help to make me a clear and open channel for the collective. Thank you, Father God, Spirit guides, guardian angels, Mama Love. Amen. All right, Pisces. So I apologize, these are coming out a little late. As I said, we've missed the full moon, is why I'm saying that. We've missed the full moon in Gemini, which has brought some clarity around the things that definitely need some altering in our life. And the day I'm recording this, on the 10th, Neptune is going direct. So that's also gonna provide another layer of clarity that is well deserved, that I feel like you're seeking on some level. The downside of Neptune in retrograde in Pisces is it does make everything a little bit cloudy, a little bit foggy. And I feel like whatever you are engaging with this month, you're putting pieces into play that are just adding some really strong layers, structure to who you are, to what you're creating, what you're cultivating. This is like that energy of alchemy. It's like working, yes, with natural law in order to accomplish your tasks, your goals, understanding how life works, that there are cycles, there are patterns, there's ebb and flow. But you're like, it feels very alchemic to me, like you are taking all these elements and you're building something that's really strong, really powerful. Whatever clarity is, it's like you know exactly what to do is what I'm hearing. Spirit might be speaking these messages to you throughout the month, however that comes through. It can be through the still small voice, but it can also be through synchronicity and different people coming up or across your feed, or, you know, receiving certain angel numbers. Definitely, there's a lot of resources for numerology. It is actually pretty powerful, you know, how the universe, I mean, maybe the universe completely speaks in numbers. I don't know, but anyway, back to the reading. Sorry. I feel like you are initially just like picking something up, or, you know, you're feeling something, you're understanding something to be true. And it looks like, okay, interesting. This is, new beginnings is still in your blocked energy. Okay. So you, like I said, you're picking, you know, something to be true. And I think it's something that like is heavily tied to you maybe cutting ties. I don't know. Everyone's situation is going to be different. But this feels very much like going it your own way. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to be cutting people off per se, if that's not your vibe, if that's not where you're at with whatever this is. This might be as simple as you just like listening to your own voice about what you need to do next in like any given area of your life, right? And getting some type of confirmation. Like, I feel like something's coming out this month. Again, it does feel very much like clarity, putting certain pieces of the puzzle together for you that give you confirmation, that give you some type of understanding that, again, you're already starting to pick up, i.e. that Neptune direct. We also have Mercury entering Sagittarius and going conjunction and in conjunction, with Black Moon Lilith. So happening tomorrow. So Mercury in Sagittarius can lend towards aggressive communication. As I say that, the Page of Swords pops out. Aggressive communication. I'm hearing for your situation specifically, it's like someone selling themselves out, right? Like whether they tell you something, whether they tell you something they like were never really planning or intending on telling you, and it kind of comes out in conversation, or it's a heated conversation, you kind of like provoke something in them or whatever you say. I don't even pick up that you're like trying to do that, right? But it looks like you're trying to push the wheel forward. I do see someone is resisting this for you. That's part of where this communication is breaking down, is what I'm hearing. We have the Star. Someone wants to try again. Someone wants to do it better. Someone doesn't want the change. A lot of major arcana. We have 4 out of 5 cards are major arcana. So there's some big decisions on the table. It looks like whatever conversations are happening, they're revealing. That's what I'll say. Mercury, those two aspects I was talking about with Mercury, it's revealing. It's really highlighting through what people are saying, how they're saying it. Maybe even like listening to those indirect communications, sorry, oh my gosh, like body language, etc. Not to be hyper paranoid, but it's in this way to kind of confirm what you're already picking up on, because Mid-month, there's this part of you that is deciding to do things in a way that will look a little deeper with the tarot, that either like other people don't agree with, or you do kind of have to separate yourself from people, from situations based on what's happening. I don't see you shutting anyone down this month per se, but I just kind of, there's a lot of things up in the air. And, you know, this is the next 4 weeks, right? We're also in the holiday season. There's a lot going on. So it's hard to make big changes during this time anyway. That's what I'm trying to get at. Beginning of the month, you're good with kind of keeping things as they are. Like maybe having these conversations, but not necessarily giving any definity any which way. Mid-month, we have Mars entering Capricorn. And then a few days later, almost a week later, we're going to have the new moon in Sagittarius. So, and really with your energy, it looks like you're not, I don't know that you're not willing to hear someone out, because it looks like you do a lot of listening in the beginning, right? Like you're present, you're available, you're showing up, you're listening, you're engaging, you're interacting. You might be holding your cards close to your chest is what I'm seeing, because I think where you know you're headed, this is just like where you know you're headed, it needs to be protected on some level. The 15th, Mars enters Capricorn. So that is that value of like whatever you're going to plug your energy into, you better make sure that it's like willing, or it's worth the work and the effort, or else it's not going to sustain. I'm not like trying to say a bad omen, I promise. It's just like things that like might be a little bit more superficially gratifying right now, i.e., especially if you're dealing with someone who's like controlling or manipulative, or has done that in the past, or lies or whatever, you know, they might be kind of trying to sell something. And I don't see you really getting emotionally involved. I actually see your energy being very strong within self until the end of the month, until the end of the year. And honestly, that's kind of when the astrology slows a little bit more. We have this pop in intensity midweek, end of the week, as I'm recording this, whenever you find this message, I suppose. And that makes sense, because here we go. It's the Empress with the Knight of Wands. This guy, he actually did pop up in our weekly last night. Definitely check it out if you're interested. But it's just two very different people, very different pages. If anything, the Empress can really see through the bullshit. It's not that hard to pick up. I mean, and it could even be as quick of a turnover as like someone saying, you know, a few days later or a week before, like promising you all this stuff, and then it becomes this other thing, you know? Or again, I'm getting this heavy sense that there's like whatever gets said, someone might not be able to handle it, right? And so we hit this new moon in Sagittarius. Black Moon Lilith enters into Sagittarius at the same time. And it's like, we really have to, this is like when we're starting to commit, or, you know, yes, we get a little bit of that with Mars into Capricorn the 15th, but as we move towards that new moon, we're still in the waning phase of the moon cycle when Mars enters into Capricorn. So waning phases is all about like kind of releasing, letting go, cleansing out, you know, what is not really, like what is not in alignment with your manifestation, right? Like your goals, whatever that is. And it looks like you're doing that, right? But then something starts to mess with your head. And I feel like end of the month, the sun enters into Capricorn season. The 21st, we have Venus then moving into Capricorn season. I'm hearing it's like the realities of what the hard work actually is. And if you're dealing with someone like this, they might be really good at just picking and poking and prodding, saying things to fearmonger. I was reminded of that really great acronym. I love it. Fear is false evidence appearing real. And it's like, that's kind of how this energy comes through. And maybe there is something in this dynamic that feels really attractive, that feels really enticing, you know, because the King or the Knight of Wands is like alluring in a lot of ways, you know? Like, in modern terms, he could be the playboy or the proverbial perfect partner that never commits, that type of vibe. Clarity is being blocked, end of the month. It looks like, and this has actually been a pretty consistent theme in all of our readings, there's a lot of push and pull energy. As I'm saying that, Ten of Swords pops up. Making sure that we're not going back into old habits, old patterns, which you might be doing a little bit of, because we have the Ace of Swords in the blocked energy. And, you know, someone might still have your ear is kind of what I'm seeing. Like, someone might still have their foot in the door with you. And I don't know, you know, it's, again, this is a busy time of year. It's a stressful time of year. It's not the time of year to be making like monumental changes, right? They can happen. They can definitely get triggered and provoked if we are pushing things down or sweeping things underneath the rug long enough, right? But it's really interesting how this shakes out, because it's like someone's working really hard to get into your good graces. And there's a lot of, time will tell. Like I should say, someone's working hard to get into your good graces. There's a promise of newness, a promise of new beginnings, letting go, releasing the toxicity, starting fresh, yada, yada. My concern is this Six of Wands card, because this is about selfish victory, right? Victory that you just, it's like, well, this is what I want because I want it. And not really caring, especially if this is like a relationship or a dynamic where both parties need to be taken into the equation, which I assume it is. That's concerning, because it looks, like I said, it looks like someone's working really hard to get into your good graces and then, falls a little flat, right? Like as soon as they get what they want, it seems like it's messing with your head a little bit at the end of the month. Helium. I'm going to read the little excerpts out of the book. They're really beautiful, very poetic. I love this deck. It is the periodic table of elements. This guy came up for us too. Rhodogenium and chlorine. Okay, let's see what this is all about, Pisces. Helium is a lot about creation, right? We need it to actually create life. And the way that we are interacting with our world around us, who and what we are inviting in, is really going to dictate what the output is, right? What we are actually inviting into our life. Actually, we were just researching this in Ayurveda, that concept of pregnancy, conception, how the mother and the father, they pass on wherever they are in that given moment. They're passing all that on to the child, right? So it's that value of we're choosing how we're taking care of ourselves mentally, emotionally, physically is really going to dictate what we pass on, or what life we create, or what manifestations actually come into play, right? And let me just find chlorine and then I will start this. Thank you for, okay, perfect. And it's a little bit of a challenge right now, because we are being forced to face whether we're choosing comfort for the sake of comfort that might bite us in the butt down the road, or if we're actually going to kind of get off of our fanny, do a little hard work. I don't know why it came out that way. I never say that word. I swear. Oh, funny. Okay, helium. Let's get into this. Okay, traversing the invincible from the primordial time to when time began, helium, a floating solar energy, entered the world on a sunbeam with a direct spiritual need for abundance, born from the mighty goddess hydrogen. On their long, slow journey together, hydrogen and helium birthed oceans of celestial plasma, a lonely mother and son transmuting into lovers, populating the cosmos and then the earth with their inner becomings, life. It symbolizes offspring, union, increasing, creative, and solar. So really kind of just driving home exactly what I was just saying about making those conscious decisions about where you are committing to creating life and how you're creating that life for yourself, because that's really going to dictate whether you're like happy, fulfilled or not. So this new era marches forward with unprecedented speed, no longer hearing the earth's sounds, the warnings of the hidden, or the universe's fully accomplished voice, calling to us from the realm of eternal affection. Once so dear to us, we have long left these radiant, loyal, wise, and humble energies behind. In their place lies the hungry, sleeping dog, Rotangenium, a captured and civilized pet, no doubt bred to worship its masters as the new hero gods. So really kind of, again, driving home that point of being mindful of like who and what you're giving your energy to, because it is going to dictate the output. And like, I know that's like a real kind of intense, right? The hungry sleeping dog lying in wait. But that is kind of what some of these energies feel like that we're dealing with, right? And especially if you're resonating with that message of like someone just trying to so desperately to get back into your good graces, and then once they do, it's just like taken for granted, and it almost feels immediately, and whether this is you making the conscious decision to be like, enough is enough, right? Sorry, it's a little janky. 8 of Cups, new moon, Ace of Pentacles, breaking free so that you can have new beginnings. It will be up to you this month, right? Depending on the dynamic, how quickly this does turn around, but just to be mindful. Chlorine says, starting from her existence, chlorine's dual nature, outwardly good, but inwardly shockingly evil. This is, I love it. It never lies, right? Has had to be conquered with sheer force. At one moment, she is an elusive, sublime youth with a stainless mystic soul. The next, a vengeful demon and apprenticing in the dark arts of death and destruction. A spiritual struggle that moves from blissful realms of purity to forbidden grounds of torment and loss. Which of these spiraling natures is Chlorine's true self? Which will be the conqueror? As both twist within her, who will have the last backward glance before the final leave-taking? She symbolizes volatile, erratic, unreliable, suspicious, and emotional. So it's definitely driving home that point, right, of awareness. I think I heard that across the board through all those 3 oracles, having awareness of what life you're creating. And you are to some capacity. I think it's just maybe you need to see it again. Sometimes we need to see the pattern over and over and over again before we're able to really be like, okay, like I don't want that. I've had enough, or whatever that is, right? And you have all the tools. I think you have a lot of things working for you. Just be really mindful of like mind games, gaslighting, either of yourself or from outside individuals. That's why this period of time, beginning of the month, is so important to be steadfast within self, build that solidarity, listen, tune in, trust yourself, because the holidays can also be really, alluring. Like it's home, it's family, it's love, it's nurture, and it's so easy, especially people we have a soft spot for. It's so easy to invite them back in. But you got this. Godspeed. I'm here if you need anything. Thank you so much for your time, energy, always, Pisces. I hope you enjoyed the reading. I hope you found messages that resonated here for you. Definitely drop comments below if you did. I'd love to hear, or just say, hey, share in a little love, little TLC. I so appreciate all the love, all the support to the channel. No, it blesses my heart, and I'm sending love and blessings back to you.